Hey, what's the difference between healthy eating and clean eating? Well, there is quite a big difference, to be fair. So if we take healthy eating into consideration, healthy eating could be categorized as what the government tell you is healthy. The food pyramid, for example. Now, it's getting very much outdated, that food pyramid. It's not necessarily horrendous advice, but it ain't the best advice. We're in an obesity and ill health epidemic right now. Mental health is an all-time high, as in high for the bad things like anxiety, depression. We've got heart disease, we've got liver failure, we've got kidney disease, we've got diabetes, all these kinds of health issues, stroke, heart attack. They're in record numbers right now. And the advice that people are getting is not necessarily the best advice. Now, we're not daft. We know that eating chips, ice cream, crisps, pizza, fried foods are not good for us. We're probably aware more fruits and vegetables and lean meats are good for us, right? But the difference between healthy eating and clean eating is as follows. Healthy eating is what somebody else tells you or you assume to be healthy. Maybe a governing body or somebody with authority tells you. Clean eating is simple. It's foods that come from single ingredient sources. It's as simple as that. So could you catch it or kill it? Or could you pick it and eat it? That's what basically encompasses clean eating. Clean eating, a food that is clean, is could you catch it and kill it, i.e. a fish, an animal, or could you pick it and eat it? Plants, berries, fruits, etc. Now, when it comes to two, you've got to be finding a balance between them because it's very, very difficult in modern life to just eat 100% clean. And this becomes an issue when we have so many people, and I've throughout my decade plus of helping thousands of different people from all different walks, when it comes to getting into a healthy lifestyle, which I'm a healthy lifestyle specialist, I have seen more people than not say, I'm an all or nothing person. That's what they say. That's the words that come out of their mouth. I'm an all or nothing person. Great. But the problem with that approach is it's fantastic when they're on it and they're all in, but when they can't do it all, they do nothing. And maybe this is you. So when it comes to clean eating, I don't believe there's a person alive, unless you are an indigenous fucking tribe, I don't believe there's anybody that can eat clean 100% of the time. Because life's going to get in the way. And what when you want to go out and eat at a restaurant? There's going to be something unhealthy on the menu. There's going to be a time when you just want some chocolate. And that's fine. But it's finding the balance, right? But this word, balance, most people don't have an idea what that even fucking means. So what is balance? Now, it's different for everybody. You could say it's 50-50. You could say it's 70-30, 80-20, 90-10. I would say that 85%, 80 to 85% of my diet personally is clean. And then the other 10% is healthy. I would say 5 to 10% of my diet is unhealthy. That's the way I work my balance. Now that is my chosen choice and not many people live that way. Most people live on the 80-20 rule. 20% of what they eat is healthy and maybe clean. 80% is shit. This is most people. Not everybody, but most people. Now, people also say, well, I'm a fussy eater. And I get that a lot. I'm like, well, there are thousands of different food variations. Which ones have you tried? Probably about 15 to 20 different foods. You found 10 that you didn't like and 10 that you did, and you just keep cycling the 10 things that you do. Simple as that. That's most people, right? When it comes to healthy eating, right, you might think of things like pasta, whole grain bread, whole wheat cereal, things that are branded high fiber, things that are branded low in fat. You may think of those as healthy, and some of them might be. But at the same time, for example, you choose a yogurt that's low in fat. Granted, it might be low fat, but it doesn't say anything about the sugar content. And sugar is one of the things that is causing us massive issues with ill health, especially our diabetes epidemic that's happening. So let's say you look at something that says whole grain. Now, what does whole grain mean? It's kind of like usually whole grain, high fiber, these things just mean that they've got more grain to them, which could be more useful for your digestive system, but that does not mean that it still doesn't contain chemicals. It doesn't contain trans fats or processed fats. It doesn't contain high sugar content. It just means that it's whole grain. It's got a little bit extra whole grain added to it. That doesn't mean that it's good for you. It's just these are buzzwords that people are and marketers are finding now that people will buy more if we add this to it, because there's a small amount of evidence to say that a whole diet with more quantity of whole grains is more likely to this. But actually what studies have shown is that diets that are cleaner, as in more single ingredient foods that are not processed like most wheat, gluten, grain things are, A diet that's rich in whole foods is far healthier than a diet that's rich in whole grains and high fiber just because it's branded that way. Hopefully you're still with me. So you've got to be careful when it comes to healthy eating. I know people who think that fruit salads, the sweets, are healthy because it's fruit. Like, it's in the name, it must be healthy. Now, obviously, this is fairly stupid to the common person, right? To the average person. But some people genuinely feel this way when there's no added sugars and no added colors. It must be healthy. No, the true healthy food is clean eating. And the majority of our diet should come from single ingredient foods. Like I said, could you catch it and kill it or pick it and eat it? So what am I talking about? Well, there's thousands of things. From beef, lamb, chicken, turkey, from your big meats like your bison or your crocodile. Now obviously those are quite exotic meats, so you could be talking elk, things like that, but they're still meats that are clean and healthy for you to eat. Or you might like your game meats, things like that. Not for me personally, but it's still technically a cleaner way than, say, eating a fuck ton of bread, for example. Now, white bread and brown bread, which is better? They're both fucking the same. You turn the packet over on the white bread and brown bread, they've got exactly the same ingredients, except for brown bread has more whole grain in. Bread is still a processed food. It's not a health food. We must remember this, right? It's like high fiber cereals. It's still usually a processed cereal that you're buying. Regardless of whether it's bran flakes or all bran, high fiber this, it's still a fucking processed cereal that's full of sugar and crap. It's not good for you. However, a chicken breast, a salmon fillet, mackerel, herring, all your seafood, etc. Single ingredient foods. Fruits and vegetables. What am I talking like? Carrots, broccoli, peas, cabbage, turnip, sweet potato, regular, all potato, like just normal, average, single ingredient foods. Healthy, clean. Yeah? So that's the kind of difference that you want to imagine when you're putting food together. Now, the problem with this is that processed food that tastes good is available quickly, instantly. It's convenient, right? So it's actually inconvenient a lot of the time to eat clean because you have to prep it. You have to peel your vegetables, you have to boil them, you have to prep your food, you have to cook your meat, all this stuff. It's hard, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier than feeling fat, miserable, out of shape and of ill health. It is far easier to prepare a healthy meal than it is to choose convenience. Now, how can we make it more convenient to eat clean than eat supposed healthy? Now, I'm not saying that, brown pasta is bad for you and you shouldn't have it. But pasta is a processed food. It has gluten in it. It's not a health food. Just like cow's milk. Cow's milk is a processed food. It doesn't just come out the cow's udder and get straight into your body. Cow's milk is milk for baby cows, not for humans. But yet we are fed the supposed information that it's really high in calcium and you should have it for your bones. When in reality, if you were to look at the countries with the highest rates of osteoporosis, brittle bone disease, they're also accumulatively the countries which consume the highest rates of dairy products. Is there some combination there? Quite possibly. But you will know if you go on a gluten and dairy-free diet, which could be categorized as a cleaner diet, because gluten and dairy are processed foods, but they're in almost everything that we eat and consume. If you were to go on a gluten and dairy-free diet for a week or two, you would possibly, most likely, notice a significant difference in your energy, your bloatedness, your mental fatigue, possibly even your body, your weight loss, etc. Now, a lot of people won't follow this advice because it's unconventional. It's not sexy. It's basically telling you that a lot of the cakes and nice things and sweets and crisps and processed stuff that you enjoy, you can't have. But that's not to say that there aren't things out there which you can have. So we need to make it as convenient as possible to eat as clean as we can. So what's the best 3 tips I can give you? Number 1 is not have any crap food, chocolate, sweets, takeaway things, easy stuff in the house. If you want it, you go out and you specifically get it in a separate shopping trip, because if it's there, if it's easily accessible and it's visible, you'll remember. If it ain't visible and it's not there, you'll more than likely forget. The second thing to make life easier for you and to make clean eating easier is stick to the same foods on an almost daily basis. Now, what I mean by this is if you find a breakfast that's very clean and healthy, like eggs, for example, or steak. I know that sounds out there and I'm not recommending it for everybody, but let's use eggs as an example. You enjoy boiled eggs in the morning. Keep that to 90% of the time. You just have the same breakfast that's clean and healthy. So rather than chopping and changing it all the time or wondering what you're going to have today, have the same thing. You could work the same for lunch. My lunch, 90% of the time, is usually the same. It's rice, it's tuna, and it's vegetables. That's it. I'll sometimes have ham in place of the tuna, but I'll more or less have exactly the same thing every lunchtime, because then I'm not guessing, what do I need to have? Well, see what's in, what's available at the food van, this, that and the other. Be a little bit more prepared and have consistency with what you're eating. The third thing is, and this is going a little bit away from what to actually eat, because again, I've given you enough information in this video to give you a damn good idea. You're not daft, you kind of know already, but it's just phrasing it a little bit differently. The third thing that I would say is drink more of this, and this is water. I actually have a little bit of electrolyte powder in here, which helps replace the salts and magnesium in your body that gets depleted, so it's highly recommended to add a good electrolyte powder to your water. But don't worry if not, just getting more fluids, what that will do is it will keep you more hydrated. You will be fuller in the stomach of liquid, meaning you will not feel as hungry, which will mean you'll snack less and you'll likely eat less crappy calories, so you will likely lose more weight as a result of consuming more water. That would be my 3 best tips for getting a handle on your diet and making it more convenient to eat well, is actually if you drink well as well, you tend to eat well because you feel less tired, so you're not after that quick sugary fix or that, thing that's going to lift you up real quick, that's you can grab and snap at instantly. You're like, no, I'm drinking a lot of water now, I'm giving my body replenishment and refreshment from nature's elements, and I want to feel good. Yes, one good habit usually follows another. But what does one bad habit usually do? Follow another and another. And we know this. It's why we go in a vicious cycle. It's why we say this vicious cycle. But if we can start incorporating healthy things into our cycle, things will change for the better. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been very informative and useful for you. If it has, it would be great for you to comment below, share this video, show it to your friend or whoever needs to see it, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to learn how to create outstanding levels of energy, motivation and self-control, my second book, Supercharged, the modern day guide to doing exactly that, is out now.